All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video as we look ahead to the NFL draft with watching some of the college games during the bye week. And this was a great day to watch college football for draft prospects, as today was Championship Saturday. And on Championship Saturday, we saw some really good college football and some really good future NFL players. Now, there were a bunch of games on this Saturday. The one that I really want to highlight, though, is Indiana, Ohio State, which was number one Ohio State losing in Indianapolis to number two Indiana. 13-10 was the final. A low-scoring defensive struggle. Fernando Mendoza and the boys roll to 13-0 and hand the Buckeyes their first loss of the season. That was the game that I want to talk about. There's three prospects on each side there that really jump out to me. But I started off in the afternoon watching Georgia and Bama. And Georgia and Bama is that's a great matchup. You can watch Georgia and Alabama, and they battle. There's all kinds of good talent on both sides of the ball. Georgia's got great players. I mean, there's no question that when I watch Georgia, I think of C.J. Allen, the linebacker, number 3, who's going to be a first-round draft choice. He's tremendous. He's a great, great player. Also, Dalen Everett, the corner. He's going to be a hell of a player as well. He had an interception in the game. On the Alabama side, Deontay Lawson is one of my favorites. He wears number 0. He's the linebacker for the Crimson Tide. Really athletic, always Johnny on the spot. I love him. I've always loved him. He's a tremendous talent. And then the other guy that I really love for Alabama is the receiver Jeremy Bernard, who had 6 catches for 62 yards, including a touchdown. Bernard, I think, would be a great 49er. But the guy who I think is kind of the sleeper in this matchup that, he's viewed as kind of a 7th-round pick. And he's like, sometimes these there's like 4 or 5 schools in college football right now that just have so much talent that guys get lost. I mean, big school sleepers, it's like a new thing. There's so much talent that goes to Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, that even guys that don't wind up being superstars there or kind of get lost in the shuffle there, oftentimes are really good NFL prospects. Robert Beal was a 6th-round pick out of Georgia, and he's just now starting to kind of figure it out in the pros. One guy that I think is going to be a day 3 pick, that's going to be a really good pro for the Georgia Bulldogs, is the receiver Dylan Bell. Zachariah Branch is a lot of people comparing him to Debo, even though he's 180 pounds. And he's the receiver that you're going to talk about when you're talking about Georgia receivers. But Dylan Bell has been productive for a couple of years now there. And he had a touchdown today, 4 catches for 45 yards. The bigger the game, the bigger Dylan Bell plays. He's kind of a jack of all trades. You can hand it to him as a runner. He had 4 carries for 24 yards, 6 yards a pop. He also had 4 catches for 45 yards in the touchdown. He had a 19-yard catch. That was his long catch of the day. But Dylan Bell, he's a former track star who is probably going to run in the low 4.5s. But he just kind of looked overlooked. There's faster guys, there's bigger guys. But he's a really solid receiver, and I think he's going to be a really good pro. So there you go, a little mention there for Dylan Bell. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video, which is Indiana, Ohio State. And to me, this was the 49ers had multiple scouts at this game. It was reported that the Niners sent multiple scouts to Indianapolis to watch Indiana and Ohio State. So who do we like on Indiana and Ohio State? First of all, the receiver, Elijah Surratt, really talented receiver. He wears number 13. He had the game-winning touchdown grab in this game. Just a really, really talented guy. Here, I'll show you an image of him here. Here's a little video of him, a little short video I did. Kill the volume on that. But, Surratt's been a pretty good receiver for a couple of years now. And, he's got good size, good hands. He makes big plays. He's a receiver, definitely. I don't think he's not a day 1 or day 2 receiver. He's a day 3 receiver, I think, 4th round or later. But we'll see. We'll see what he runs for the 40, but he's definitely a good football player and a solid NFL receiver prospect for sure at the next level. With route running ability, size, good hands. This guy's made a lot of plays. He's made a lot of plays. So there you go. Elijah Surratt right there. That's one guy that I really, really like. Now, the couple other Indiana players. Now, Indiana's really stacked. They got a bunch of guys. Get Carter Smith, the offensive tackle, is a good player. They have a lot of different guys who can really play. One of my favorite players that they have is a guy named Mikhail Kamara. And here's Kamara. We'll show a little highlight package of Kamara here. He's a good-looking player. Now, he's a small defensive end, but this guy's a tackle for loss king. He's a productive football player. He's only about 6 feet, maybe 6'1", but 6'1", 260 with great bend, great pursuit, great athleticism. You can see him here. He doesn't look very big, but he's productive. Here he is coming off the edge, gonna get the quarterback and put him on the ground. Here he is playing a little bit inside, right defensive end, and he holds contain and then makes the tackle on the quarterback. Here he is playing right defensive end. He kind of jumps inside. He's got the running back right there, and he brings him down solo. Here he is playing left defensive end. He dips the shoulder, gets around that tackle. That was a terrible effort by that Maryland tackle. Here he is. He threw away the defender, gets into the backfield. He's just he's going to be drafted on day 3 because he's 6 feet tall. You're looking for 6'6", you're looking for 6'7". You're not looking for 6 feet. You're not looking for 6'1". He's going to be underdrafted because of that, but he's very, very productive. He knows how to play the position. He can play the run. He can play the pass. He's probably more of a situational rusher in the NFL. I don't know if he's going to stand in and set a tough edge at 6'1", but you know what he is he's got a real knack to rush the passer, and this guy is one of the best pass rushers in the Big Ten. He's one of the best tackle for loss guys in the Big Ten. He gets penetration. He's got strong hands. He plays the game on his feet. He knows how to play. He's productive. I really like this kid, Mikhail Kamara. I've been watching him for a couple of years. So he's a day 3 defensive end. You're not going to take him in the first round. You're not taking him in the second round. You're not taking him in the third round. He's like a 5th round or later guy, but he's a nice player. He might even be an undrafted player. We'll see. We'll see what kind of 40 time he runs. I mean, if he runs close to 4.5, he'll get drafted. If he runs slower than that at 6 feet, 260, he maybe doesn't get drafted. But that's a guy that I would be on the horn with in the 7th round saying, hey, let's get you to San Francisco because he's a really, really high edge performer, knows how to play. So there you go. A little Mikhail Kamara there is one of my favorite guys for Indiana for sure. And I think he's going to be a steal in the draft. Today's video is sponsored by Brunt Workwear, and let me tell you, I was blown away when I pulled these boots out of the box. I've got the Omen soft toe in black right here. I love these boots. I've been wearing them for a few days. They're comfortable, no painful break-in, no sore feet, just tough, durable boots that feel great right away. The story behind Brunt is awesome, too. Their founder, Eric Gerard, grew up blue collar. His friends in the trades told him that the big brands had sold out and stopped listening, so he built Brunt to make gear for real hardworking people. That's why every product is named after the guys he grew up with. The boots are made by and for the trades. Now, whether you need waterproof, safety toe, soft toe, pull on, lace up, Brunt has options that can handle whatever job site you're walking into. And the best part, if they're not right for you, you can wear them and still send them back. That's how much Brunt believes in their product. Right now, for a limited time, you can get $10 off Brunt when you use the code Larry at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com/Larry. Enter the code Larry and you're good to go. After you order, they'll ask you where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor. Tell them it was from the Krug Show. So don't settle for uncomfortable boots that don't hold up. Brunt built something better. Insanely comfortable, durable work boots for real work. Now, probably my favorite Indiana player is the undersized corner, D'Angelo Pons. And I'll show you some images. Oops, turn my camera off there. I'll show you some images of Pons. Pons is also, he's little. He's 5'9", 170, but he's got ball skills. He's physical. Hasn't allowed a touchdown this season or across 346 coverage snaps. And Pons is a big-time player, and we'll play this tape from the top. He's a little player, but man, he's tough. And I think we've seen that this year with Upton Stout. It's not the size of it's not the size of the man in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the man. I mean, it's a little bit of that. And Upton Stout has got great fight, and so does this kid Pons. And because he's a 5'9" corner, some teams won't have him on their board, right? Some teams don't have any corners under 5'10" on their board. But D'Angelo Pons makes a lot of plays. Makes a lot of plays in the football, and this is going to be another really good day 3 draft choice. He's going to be taken on day 3 because of the size limitations. But the tenacity, the ability to mirror, the tenaciousness, the competitiveness at the catch point, the versatility. I mean, it's all there. The guy did it in the Big Ten week after week after week against some of the best receivers in the game. He can run. He's tough. He's feisty. He's what you want. So he's you'd want him to be 6'2", but the competitiveness, the feistiness. I mean, look at him peel off of his guy there to make a play on the goal line. That's a nice play. So big fan of D'Angelo Pons. So there you go. You got three Indiana players: D'Angelo Pons, Mikael Kamara, and Elijah Surratt. Okay, but there's also 3 Buckeyes. And now there's a lot more than 3 Buckeyes. The Buckeyes have a ton of guys, right? I mean, a lot of guys. But I'll give you 3 of my very favorite guys. Now, I mean, I'm like everybody else. I mean, I like Jeremiah Smith. I mean, he's one of the best receivers I've ever seen in the college game in years. He's physically incredible. I love Carnell Tate. I think Carnell Tate's going to be a superstar in the NFL. There's all kinds of good Buckeye players. I mean, the Buckeyes have a lot of good football players. There's no question about that. They got a lot of talent, and just on both sides of the ball. I mean, on offense, Carnell Tate, number 17, the wide receiver, amazing. Jeremiah Smith, who's not eligible for the draft for another year, the sophomore receiver, is fantastic. I mean, he's going to be maybe the first pick in the draft. The left tackle, Sierreveld, is playing in the NFL. The left guard, Montgomery, is one of my favorites. We'll get to him. Max Clare, the tight end, is a good player. There's just a lot of Buckeyes that can really play. And then on the defensive side, even more. I mean, Caden Curry, the defensive end, number 92, high effort guy, can sack the quarterback. Caden McDonald is one of my favorites. Kenyatta Jackson is one of my favorites. Sonny Styles is a tremendous linebacker. Arvell Reese is going to be one of the best players in the draft. He may go number 1. Caleb Downs is going to be a top 15 pick for sure. Superstar safety. Davison Igbenuson, the corner, has gotten better at minimizing penalties. He's a player. Lorenzo Styles is a big-time player, the nickel back for sure. So, I mean, the Buckeyes are loaded. Buckeyes are absolutely loaded. And there's just a bunch of guys to love for the Buckeyes. They're the most talented team in the country, I think, by far. And they're loaded with all kinds of guys. So who are my favorite guys, or guys that really stand out to me for Ohio State? Well, the first guy I want to talk about is Luke Montgomery. Now, Montgomery is a guard. He's 6'5", about 315 pounds. He was a 4-star recruit. He's the Buckeyes starting left guard. He was recruited as the highest-ranked offensive lineman in Ohio State's 2023 recruiting class, and he was considered the nation's number 3 interior offensive lineman. He's a tremendous, tough, brawling guard. I love the way he moves guys in the run game. I'll show you some film of Luke Montgomery. He's kind of a badass. I mean, this is, the Niners are going to be looking for offensive linemen, and Montgomery has got some really nice tape. Now, here he is. We'll put the volume down so nobody listen to the commentary, but here it is. Here he is right here at left guard, 61 or 51, I guess he is. 51 right here at left guard, and he's just going to wall off his guy and drive him into the end zone. The running back's going to run behind him. It's not an incredible highlight, but this guy really is a solid football player. And he's just a kind of a brawler, tough guy. Really like him a lot. I think that's one of those Buckeye players that I definitely would want to get. that left guard. I just think he's a difference maker. Now he's a junior, so who knows? Maybe he doesn't come out. But Luke Montgomery, definitely a guy that I think is going to be good at the next level. Now, another guy that I really like is Kenyatta Jackson. Jackson was absolutely awesome. Best game of his career in the Michigan game. And he's a fourth year junior. And we'll see if he, decides to stay in Columbus for another year, or if he comes out. If he comes out, he's going to be a second round pick. He might be a third round pick. He's definitely going to be a day two guy. He's not going on day one, but this guy's 6'6", 265. This is a player that would be a great edge setting player for the 49ers. And I'm going to show you what he looks like here. He's off the defensive right end. There he is, 97. I mean, look at the foot quickness. Look at the body. Look at the speed. You can see the movement ability. It's just off the charts. And he's just a great athlete. He's very, very strong. Here he is throwing guys away, making tackles. He was awesome in this game against Michigan. Here he is bulldozing, and you've got now he ducked inside and beat his man with quickness. Here he is bull rushing again, getting to the quarterback, putting heat. Kenyatta Jackson made himself a lot of money in that game against the Wolverines. And to me, this matters. I know some people don't think, oh, well, it's one game. Yeah, he doesn't have the greatest production this year, but to me, how you play in your rivalry game does matter. Who steps up in the rivalry game does matter. I've always believed in that. It's how you play your biggest games of the year. Now, all the film matters, but these games matter a little bit more. And you can see the bull rush. You can see this quickness. You can see the footwork. You can see the athleticism. He's got long arms. This guy's 6'6", 265. Buckeyes get some of the best prospects in the country, and this guy's one of them. Kenyatta Jackson. Love Kenyatta Jackson. All right, so we'll stop sharing on that. But he's really something. He is really something. He's in 5.5 sacks this year. But he's played big in some big games. He had a sack against Michigan. He had a sack against Indiana. He had 2 sacks against Penn State. He had 1 against Wisconsin. He got a half sack against Illinois. He had 1 against UW. Had 4 tackles in the UCLA game. He's been pretty productive player. 5.5 sacks on the year for Kenyatta Jackson, 24 tackles. He needs to get better, needs to be coached up, needs more moves, doesn't have a lot of moves, but he's a good football player for sure. And he is a guy who I think would be a really, really nice day 2 pick. Another Buckeye that I absolutely love, and I right now, this is one of my favorite players in the upcoming draft, and that's Caden McDonald, who Matt Miller had mocked to the Niners. Here's a Dane Brugler clip that he put out. And here he is, 98, right in the middle. And what you're looking at is kind of a DJ Jones strength prospect, but even better quickness and better pass rush ability than DJ, who had good quickness. DJ went in the 6th round. This guy's not going in the 6th round. This guy's going in the 1st round. Tremendous person, tremendous prospect, well coached, strong against the run, quick against the pass. This is the kind of destroyer in the middle that you take in the 1st round. If he's there on the board when the 49ers pick in the 20s, I think this is the guy. This is the guy that I would take. He's a really, really talented player. And he's also, not only is he a really talented player, strong at the point of attack. Very, very strong at the point of attack. He's a hard guy to get out of there. He's a hard guy to uproot. So, my 3 favorite Buckeyes. I mean, there's a bunch of Buckeyes here, but Luke Montgomery, the left guard, number 51, the junior, if he comes out, watch out for him. Caden McDonald, the junior nose tackle, number 98. That would be my 1st round pick. And Kenyatta Jackson, the junior, redshirt junior, number 97, the right defensive end. I would definitely get him in round 2 or round 3. So, the Buckeyes and Indiana, and then Indiana, when you think of Mikhail Kamara and, what he is as an edge rusher, he's tremendous. Elijah Surratt as a receiver, and then D'Angelo Pons. I mean, D'Angelo Pons, the junior, the transfer. I mean, he's got all kinds of fight. I love D'Angelo Pons. He's a redshirt junior, so I'm not sure if he's going to be in the draft. Kamara is a redshirt senior and a grad transfer, so he's going to be in the draft for sure. And Surratt is also a transfer and a senior. He'll be in the draft. So I mean, you got today between Surratt and Mikhail Kamara and D'Angelo Pons for Indiana, and then looking at what the Buckeyes have with Caden McDonald and Kenyatta Jackson and Luke Montgomery, not to mention, there's countless others really on both sides of the ball. I thought those were the guys that really stood out, and McDonald would be the guy that I would just say, you know what? I know you need an offensive tackle. I know you need a receiver. But you know what? This is a foundation piece defensive tackle. You went after Hargrave because you wanted a pass rusher that had interior pass rusher. This guy's strong against the run, and he can rush the passer. He'd be a terrific 49er. That's where I'd start my draft right there. So a lot of interesting players today for sure. We'll stop sharing the screen, but a lot of interesting players. And then, Jeremy Bernard for Alabama and Dylan Bell for Georgia. I mean, I got to look more at Dylan Bell in this draft process, but I just have a feeling by draft weekend in April, Dylan Bell is going to be forgotten about completely, and he's going to be on the board late on day 3, maybe even as an undrafted guy. And I hope people remember that he made big catches the last couple of years in Athens for the Dogs. And Dylan Bell, I think, is, if it's possible to be underrated and play for the Georgia Bulldogs, he's it, because I think he's really underrated. I think he's going to be a good pro. I think he really is going to step into at the NFL level and do some good, nice things. Thanks to Brunt for being a sponsor of the Krug Show. We'll do more draft videos between now and the draft in late April. We get really into it once the football season comes to an end. We get into the draft season, the combine, and all that. February and March will really dig deep on this stuff, and February, March, and the April lead up to the draft, we'll be all over the draft and doing all kinds of coverage. But we just wanted to take a peek ahead since there were so many great college games this weekend. So thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Brunt for sponsoring this video, and thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.